Hello everyone. So in this video we're going to design the user interface for our application. So let's just get to it. Inside the layout package, create another resource file and we will name it Fragment Notes. And this is our home screen. So for this screen we only need two things, the recycler view and the floating action button. So get the recycler view, drag and drop it, and set its constraints to match parents and 0 dp for all the sides. And now mention its id recycler view underscore notes. And now get the floating action button, drag and drop it, and search for add. And we have IC input add, so we will be using that. And let me zoom it a little bit. Okay. So set the constraints. And this will be 16 dp from both the sides. Okay, this looks good. And now this is it for this fragment. And now let's create another fragment, another resource file, and we will name it fragment underscore add edit notes. And for this fragment, first let me zoom it a little bit. So for this screen we need the edit text. So inside the text, plain text, so drag and drop, and this will be for the title. Set the constraints, and we will change it from wrap content to match constraint, and we will give it a little margin of 8 dp from both the sides and maybe 16 dp from the top. Yeah, this looks good. And let's mention the id. So this will be title and underscore edit. Click on refactor. And input type is text person name, and that's okay. And they will delete the text. And we have to mention a hint here. So in the hint we will write title. And lastly we will mention the style, and the style will be title. Text appearance dot app compact dot title. And now we need another edit text for the content. So switch it to design and drag and drop the edit text again, and set the constraints. And change its width to match constraint and its height to match constraint too. And now we need some margin, so 8 dp from the sides and from the top also. And now you can notice the text here is in the center. So let's just go into the code and mention the gravity to top. And now we will just delete the text and write hint note content. And as you can see here, you can see a line here, so we don't need that line. So just write Android background at Android and color transparent. And as you can see, the line is no more. So, and this will be multi-line. So just write in, oh sorry, just change the input type to text multi-line. So that's it for this edit text. Now all we need is a floating action button. So switch over to the design, buttons, and floating action button. So drag and drop, and we need a check mark. So I don't think we have a check mark here. So first of all, go to the drawable, right click, new, and image asset. Here you can just change the icon type to action bar and tab icons, and on this clip, click on this clip art button, and here you can search for the check mark button again. So here it is. We have a check button. Click OK and change its name to IC check and click on next. Click finish, and we have that image asset. So now again drop this floating action button and search for IC check. So we have that here. Click OK, and you can see it's here. So just drag it down here and just set the constraints, and make sure it is end of parent and bottom of parent. Don't connect the constraints to this edit text, or it will be very messy. So as usual, the margins will be 16 dp, and have we, yeah, so we haven't given the ID for this. So just write content underscore edit and click on refactor. And for this floating action button, we can write save underscore button. And I don't think we changed the ID for the floating button on this screen also. So let's see, yeah. So just write add and underscore button. Click on refactor, and that's it for the UI. Now in this recycler view, we want to show the notes. So we have to create the notes layout. So click on layout, go to new, and make a new resource file. And here we will be calling it item underscore notes. So for this fragment, first of all, let me zoom it. Okay. So here we first of all need a card view, and inside that we'll be using the constraint layout. So split the screen, and so here just change the constraint layout to card view, and we will give it an elevation of 8 dp, and inside this we'll need a constraint layout, and the width will be match parent and height to match parent. So we're keeping it this way because it's easy to design, and then afterwards we will change it. So just close the angle brackets, and now switch over to the design. So now here we need a text view for the title. So drag and drop it and set its constraint to the top and to the left. So split the screen now and just change the ID. So this will be title underscore note. And here we don't need the text, but we can use tools for this, and the text will be title. So now we'll just mention the style, and the style will be app compat title. And now we need a margin, so it will be a margin top and for 8 dp, a padding of 8 dp. And now what we need is to ellipsize this, so Android add ellipsize, and this will be end, and maximum lines will be 1. So that's it for the title. And now we'll move on to the date. So switch over to the design, grab a text view, and the design will be on this side. Set the constraints, and again just change the ID to date underscore note. Refactor and just go to the code. So here again just change the Android text to tools text, and the text will be date. And now it just needs the margin from the top, that will be 8 dp, padding 8 dp, and now we just have to connect these two. So click on title and set the constraints, and in the title node change the width to match constraints, so that will be 0 dp. And as you can see here, the date is looking a little odd with the title, so we'll just go over to the date and change the margin to maybe 9 dp, and yeah, it's better. So now all we need is the content text view. So move over to the design and grab a text view, constraint it with the title to the left and to the right, and constraint it to the bottom also. So now just change the ID to content note, click on refactor, and now go over to the code again. Here it is. So just change the text to tools text equals to content. So now we will give it a style, and that will be body 1. And now you can change the width to 0 dp, that means match constraints, and we will set the maximum lines to 3, and we will ellipsize this end. And now lastly we will give the padding to 8 dp, and we will just change the card view height to wrap content. And now you can make this layout more fancier, but for the tutorial purposes I just kept it very simple. So let's move on. So now we need another package, and we will name it UI, and in this package we will create our fragment classes. So new Kotlin class, and I will just name it node fragment, and this will extend fragment. And for the dependency injection, and for the dependency injection, just annotate it with Android entry point, and inside the parentheses of fragment we'll just mention the layout file. So r.layout, and just import the r, import, and r.layout fragment nodes. And that's it for this class. Now create another class, and we will name it add edit note fragment. Extend it with fragment. Inside the parentheses mention the layout, obviously import it. So r.layout.fragment add edit nodes, and just annotate it with Android entry point. And lastly, go over to the main activity and put the annotation here too, Android entry point. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. So have a nice day.